Hello everyone, this is MJ and you are at my channel called Reading This Life. My channel is where we talk fiction, friends, and fun. I feel like January has lasted a year. This has been the longest week ever. So it's probably one of the last that you'll ever see of a top 10 for 2024. I've been dragging my feet on this one. I don't know why. Just let everybody do their videos and then I'll do mine. That's my philosophy. So this is going to be the most eclectic, the most interesting top 10 that you will see because my reading taste is just that. Welcome to the top 10 books of 2024 that you probably haven't heard of. All right, everybody, welcome. If you are brand new, welcome back if you are a subscriber. Welcome back if you're a brand new subscriber. Thought we could have some fun. And we're going to go through the books, my top 10 ranked. I actually took time and said, okay, these are my favorites. So I have some books here. Most are e-copies. So I'm not going to pull them up on my device. I will just put a lovely picture over here for you to check it out. All of the books will be listed in the description box below. I will list all of the books also in my bookshop.org store. If you want to purchase a physical copy, you are supporting independent bookstores, and you can pick an independent bookstore to support. I have mine picked out, and a portion of all proceeds goes to the bookstore. The link that I have provided in the description box is an affiliate link. If you click on it, I will receive a small portion that helps fund the channel, but you don't have to. You can simply just go to bookshop.org or go to your local favorite independent bookstore. We are not buying books from Amazon this year. Not if we can help it. Okay? Okay. All right. But I am supporting independent authors on Kindle Unlimited still. So there's that. Okay. All right. The first book is a nonfiction book. This was a TikTok favorite. This is The Mountain Is You by Brianna Weist. This is the first book that I gave 5 stars to. Well, in this list. This is nonfiction. This is all about transforming your self-sabotage into self-mastery. Okay? If you are stuck in your life, if there are things that you're not quite sure why you do what you do, this book helps you figure that out. I am a sucker for a good self-help nonfiction book, and this one ticked all of the boxes for me. Absolutely fantastic. There's also a workbook on Kindle Unlimited, I believe, but just listening through to it is so beneficial and so helpful. So if you are struggling with any type of self-sabotaging behaviors, self-sabotage is like procrastination, avoidance, anything like that, anything that's preventing you from being your true authentic self. This book can help with that. I highly recommend it. Highly, highly, highly. So if you're into that, check it out. All right, so that was book number 10. All right, next. Okay, number 9 is no stranger to my channel. This is also another nonfiction. This is my friend's book, Valhalla Boys by Brennan Morton. This is his memoir of his time being a young lad, wanting to be a soldier, to enlisting in the Marine Corps after 9/11, to his experiences going through the Marine Corps, going through the selection process, being on a special teams, and being in Iraq, and all of his thoughts, emotions, experiences that tied into it. Some of my friends have done some fantastic reviews on the book. I can't recommend it enough. This is not my type of book. I don't read, number one, I don't read history. Number one, I don't read books about war. But Brennan is a friend of mine. He was my CrossFit coach. And his story is really powerful. It has heart. It has life lessons. It has humor. It has some dark moments and it has some really sad moments. It encapsulates everything so wonderfully that he takes you on a ride and you are sitting right next to him through everything. So I can't recommend it enough. And that's Valhalla Boys by Brennan Morton. And I gave that 5 stars. This was one that did not get a lot of talk. This is by Lauren Groff, and this is The Vaster Wilds. I did not know what I would be walking into with this book. I remember hearing the last words and I was completely blown away. This book held my attention. Like I said, I had no idea what this book was going to be. And it was fantastic. It's historical fiction, but it's done almost with like a twist of magical realism, but not, if that makes sense. There's a lot of nature. There's a lot of folkness to it. You are in the environment. Some people did not get along with this book. Some people did. There's a lot of interesting themes in this book. And the one is there's a lot of body functions that are covered. But for me, reading this book was so different and it was so beautiful. I loved it. I loved it. It's about a young girl that's trying to survive in the wilderness in, I think, colonial America. A servant girl escapes a colonial settlement in the wilderness. And it's tough for me to recall because I read it for the BookTube prize last year and I wasn't able to write a review. All right, so that was number 8. Number 7 of the top 10 books that you have no idea about. This one was good. This book actually just came out not too long ago. I gave this one 5 stars too. This is by Ray Wilde. I do not apologize for my position on men. I saw the cover image online and I was blown away and I said, I need to read this book. And it was just fantastic. This is a short story collection from a feminist perspective, and it takes you on so many avenues. There's something in here for everyone. I gobbled this up in a few days, and I gave it 5 stars. 5 stars. So if you're looking for a little good writing with a feminist twist, maybe some sea creatures, maybe some monsters, maybe some interesting situations, this could be the book for you. Highly, highly recommend. All right, number 6 is No Stranger to My Channel. This is Dead Folk by Katherine Silva. This book I gave 4 stars to, and this is grief horror. This is a short, powerful story. I will put my review video here in case you'd like to watch it. It's under 100 pages. It's available on Amazon. There are 2 follow-up books to this. I have the 3rd one in my possession I haven't read yet, called Nothing Land. But this is the first in the trilogy. And it is just chef's kiss superb. Highly recommend it if you love grief horror. There's something to this book. You'll read it and you'll be like, there's something there. There's something there. I can't explain it. You have to read it for yourself, okay? But I will put my review card here in case you want to check that out. Now, number 5. This book was a group read that we did over on my Patreon. And this is I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Harpman. 4 stars I gave this book. Science fiction meets sociology, a dystopian, raw yet human gem of a book focusing on isolation, survival instincts, and tactics. The narrator unpacks a lot in this book and touches on human behavior, identity, and emotional intelligence from her lens at the various times of her life. This book was phenomenal. Highly recommend it. Again, we're dealing with, a little bit more on the feminist side. Why not? Okay, and that is I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Harpman. Next is The Night Guest. This was a surprise. This was an ARC that I had. 4 stars to this. This was a translated book. This is by Hildur Knutsdottir. I loved this translated book. I'm such a fan of unhinged characters, and this book ticked all of the boxes for me. A shorter book and carrying all the elements of a compelling page turner. A good choice for someone tiptoeing into the horror genre. Absolutely fantastic. The author just released a new book today. I don't think it's available in the States, but I am definitely keeping an eye out for it for the translated edition. The Night Guest. It's wonderful. All right, so that is book number 5. We're getting close. Oh no, that was book number 4. Okay. Book number 3 is the one book that I had my eye on for the longest. I remember hearing about the book deal. I remember seeing the cover and just being like, oh, I need to read this book. This is Necrology by Meg Ripley. Now, the last 3 books, I have a Patreon. The highest level of my Patreon gets to pick one of my favorite books of the year. So the 3 that I gave out this year were number 1, Necrology, and then the next 2 we're going to talk about. Necrology is the most unique magic system I've ever experienced. I gave this 4 stars. This is after the Salem witch trials. And there has been an agreement. There has been a treaty made. Well, the treaty may have been broken and some magic may have been performed. And we get to see how that all plays out. This, again, is quite a feminist piece of writing. We're talking about power struggles. We're talking about oppression. We're talking about found family and issues of freedom. And the characters are just so well done. So well done. And there's just enough magic for all the fantasy people. And there's just enough horror for all the horror people. So this could be a great blend for someone that is on the fence of either or. This is book 1 of The Dirty. The Dirty number 2, I'm not sure when it will be out, but I will be picking it up. And basically, that is the magic system. And the magic system has to do with dirt, specifically a spiral and almost like a chutes and ladders game. Fascinating, absolutely fascinating. So if that is something that you're into, you need to check out Necrology. All right, then number 2, I have it. Crypt of the Moon Spider by Nathan Ballengard. The thinnest book, but I'm telling you what a ride this took me on. Honestly, this is one of my top 3 favorite books of the year. Short, powerful. We have a husband and wife. The husband takes the wife to a retreat for treatment, counseling. Well, they do operations at this place. They're a little bit of non-traditional type procedures. Her husband basically abandons her there. And she's getting treatments of different lobes in her brain to eliminate certain thoughts, to eliminate ideas. And what happens is just glorious. So this is definitely more for a seasoned horror reader, someone that's prepared to go down the road of a little bit, some uncomfortable situations. But how this is written is so, so beautiful. It's macabre. It is stunning. It is dark. It is gray. It is bleak, but it is also written in such a beautiful way that you have to keep reading. You have to keep turning the pages. Absolutely love this one. Absolutely loved. And this is also one in a series. So I think the next one comes out in August 2025, I think. I don't know. And I have a signed copy. Crypt of the Moon Spider, the Barrowfield home for treatment of the melancholy. That's where the husband dumps her at. All right, and then the top book. If you're a fan of my channel, you know that this is the top book of the year. This was my absolute favorite. I can't stop talking about it. I will not stop talking about it. I absolutely love the author. He's one of my favorite follows on social. I love his writing. This book, I think I read in February or March. I read it in like 2 days. It blew me away. It absolutely blew me away. The movie that was playing in my head when I was reading this, I was like, dear God, this is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. This is a copy that I had from Book of the Month, and this is The Devil Takes You Home by Gabino Iglesias. And Book of the Month gave you a translation guide to help with all of the Spanish phrases, Spanish sentences that people who don't speak Spanish may not be able to understand. And this was like gold. Because the one thing that I've heard a lot of people is like, oh, I couldn't understand the Spanish. Well, guess what? Get out Google Translate and translate it. Go the extra step for the author, you know, like what's wrong with that? And it's just, it's mind-blowing, okay? There's a witch. We have body parts. We have a heartbreaking story in the beginning. And there's an alligator somewhere in here. This was published in 2022. Okay, here's my review on Goodreads. I've never read a book this fast in a long time. My soul went through a meat grinder following this story. Loved everything about it. Loss, grief, racism, healthcare, gangs, guns, deception, death, and my favorite, supernatural elements. Damn you, Gabino. Damn you for breaking my heart in all the right places. Best thing I've read in a long time. Now, there's people, good friends of mine, that are just like, didn't get it, didn't like it, whatever. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're talking about. And it's just so good. Like, this is one of those memorable books that if somebody asks, hey, what's a good book to read? I'll be like, Devil Takes You Home. Devil Takes You Home. That's all. So this book, Crypt of the Moon Spider and Necrology were all gifted to my patrons that are in the highest tier level. And if you're on my Patreon and you didn't get your copy, you better shoot me a message because I sent messages twice. All right. It was just such a fantastic reading year. It was really hard to narrow everything down. I know there's a lot of books in there that I loved that I didn't include, but those absolutely are the standouts for me. And I know those books, not all of you are familiar with them. So do yourself a favor, treat yourself to a new book, go to your library and check one out. I guarantee you will not be disappointed, especially if we read similarly. Okay? All right, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate you more than you know. Make sure that you are taking care of yourself during these strange days. Make sure that you are taking care of others. And I will see you in my next video, whether that be sooner or later. So until next time, everyone, goodbye for now and happy reading.